Hey, you're listening to iFanboy Pick of the Week, episode 1011. I have to think about the number when I see it. Didn't used to have to. I'd be
Yeah,
like
no.
85. Now I look at it and I'm like, oh, there's 4 digits there. Make sure you don't transpose those. 1011. And how you say it, it's a whole thing. I'm Josh Flanagan. You're probably getting sick of this shtick. I know I am. This is my co-host Chronicle Patrick.
This is why they reboot, because the numbering is annoying.
You know what? I never thought of that, but that is a practical concern I kind of could get behind. At the comic book publisher, they're like, this is getting tricky. There's more room for error. Has a comic book ever been published with the wrong number? It must have happened.
Oh, maybe.
It's tens of thousands.
Like Y2K problems. They couldn't handle 4 digits.
I think they must have.
It must have happened. And is that worth more? Anyway, you may have noticed joining us today in the third chair, the Dr. Ryan Haupt, a memorial third chair, is Dr. Ryan Haupt.
Hi, everybody.
Well, I like calling things memorial when people are still alive. I think it's nice. Like downstairs at my house, there's the Alex and Kristen Robinson Memorial Breakfast Nook, because they gave me their table a long time ago. They're not dead, and the table's seen better days.
I refer to my house as the northern annex of my old apartment building.
When I hear annex,
Josh.
I know, but this is the joy I have in life. I'll take it. There's pain. The joy, it replaces soul pain with physical pain, and that's a good call. This is our show that's already off the rails. We will talk about the week that was in comic books. We've been doing so for 21 years, back when Ryan was 7. No, he's not that young. This week, one of us picked the book they like the best from their stack of comics, so we call that the pick of the week. We will talk about that book, and it's a doozy this week. Other books from the week, the patron pick, listener mail. It's going to be fun. Here's your spoiler warning. Exercise some caution. For those of you out there who oh man, it's always the same, I would like to introduce Ryan's pick of the week. Take it away.
Thanks. The pick this week is The Witcher, Bloodstone, number 1 of 4, published by Dark Horse Comics. Story by Daniel Friedman, art by Pius Bach, awesome name. Colors by Roman Titov, also awesome name. Letters by Hassan Otsmane Elhau. And we were texting before the show about our gaming habits, and I purposely avoided asking so we could say before the show, have either of you played the Witcher games at all?
No.
I made it a little way into Witcher 3 because I had finished some Assassin's Creed game, and I was like, that's my favorite kind of game, is the open world RPG. I think that's correct. And someone was like, that game's really good, but it was a lot, and I never quite grasped it.
It's a huge game.
Yeah, and I got to some point where I was like, I can't figure this out, and then I just stopped doing it. I mean to go back at some point, and I might, but
the starting zone for Witcher 3 is the size of most other games, and then it's like, oh, and by the way, here's the rest of the
and there was also a sense of I don't know, I don't care about these people yet.
Right.
He kind of seems like a dick, and I don't,
and there's a ton of mechanics. And so The Witcher is based off of a series of Polish novels by Andrzej Sapkowski, I think his name is. He's like the anti-George R. R. Martin, Josh. And for me, Witcher was scratching my Where is Winds of Winter itch.
I don't think I knew that they were based on novels. That's nuts.
Yeah. So it's a series of novels. They've been getting published. When you say around Polish? As long as Game of Thrones. Yeah, Polish.
Were they originally Polish, and then they got translated into. Oh, that's neat.
Well, and the game studio that makes the game is also a Polish game studio. So the games are coded and written in Polish too. So everything other than the Netflix show, we're getting Witcher translations, and it's like the most Polish Eastern European thing ever. It's like it's very dark. It's very stylized. It's basically fairy tales, but with a very dark spin. A lot of the game is you get in a situation as Geralt of Rivia, the Witcher, titular Witcher. Witcher is a type of person in this world where you have to make some choice, and both options are terrible and are ethically questionable.
Josh doesn't like that.
And so
their video games are okay. I mean, I just like Grand Theft Auto.
You always make the good choice.
Yes,
and so it's true, and it's really hard to do that in the Witcher game. And so the Witcher, Geralt of Rivia is the main character we follow. They are a order of people, not dissimilar from like a Jedi type setup, where they are trained from a young age They undergo this trial where they're mutated, so everyone in the world refers to them as mutants. It turned, in Geralt's case, it turned his hair white, which is not super common and makes him a little bit exceptional. He's probably hundreds of years old. We don't really know how old he is. He's not actually from Rivia. He always identifies himself as Geralt of Rivia. He's putting on an accent. And they carry 2 swords. They carry a steel sword for humans and a silver sword for monsters. And they're monster hunters. They go around town to town. They pick up contracts. They kill monsters. So this
Can you help me with this level?
Yeah. So you need to make the basilisk deconcoction. Take a potion of cat's eye.
That's actually what gets me, is that like, here's all of these fucking ingredients. It's like, I don't want to learn this.
There are a lot of mechanics in the game. And like in terms of them being Jedis, they have like this type of magic
Jedi
signs.
Jedi
where
plural.
Where if they do like the right hand motion, they can have like subtle magical effects. They can they literally can kind of do the mind trick where they influence someone's thinking. They can spark a small fire.
Have we reached the comic yet?
Yes. So the comic is like a very straightforward Conan the Barbarian, Usagi Yojimbo, Hellboy style. Like it's a story from Geralt's life. We don't know when exactly it's occurring, but like he's on his horse. He shows up in a new town. His horse is named Roach. He's again hundreds of years old. He just always names his horses Roach. And he shows up in a new town. There's a murder.
Does Roach mean Roach there, or is it just like a Polish name?
I don't know.
Like, is it supposed to be like, the gross bug? Or
some of the names they translate to English, other names they leave. It's there's some inconsistency there. But anyway, there's this dead body. The town thinks it's being done by this monster that they've sort of had this on again, off again superstition, urban legend with. Geralt thinks it's a human. He agrees to stay in town for a few days to investigate. He and the local hunter, he kind of gets introduced to all these characters in the town. It's a very like standard medieval setting. There's a blacksmith, there's a baker, there's a butcher, there's a huntsman. There's a woodsman, and it's at the base of these mountains. There's these dwarven mines. There is a dwarf character. There are fantasy creatures in this world. And Geralt and the huntsman, the hunter, go and explore the mines, and they find an ancient dwarven artifact. And Geralt realizes there probably really is a monster, and he's going to need time to. Another big thing about the Witchers, they need time to prepare for these big monster battles. So he's going to need time to prepare. So he goes back to town, takes a bath, which is another big thing from the games. He's always taking baths. Gets it on with a local girl and gets ready to face the monster. And there's some like Lord of the Rings. There's
this already.
A hold being held over the town by some artifacts that have come out of the mine. Very, if you're into, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, darker fantasy stuff with a lot of, the fantasy trappings, but not uplifting in the slightest. Like I don't know, this scratched the itch of playing the game really, really nicely. I thought Pius Bach's art was just really solid, evoked the game, but wasn't overly detailed or beholden to it, like good cartooning. I thought the dialogue from all the characters, it felt like I was walking through the game playing it, and I didn't have to, lose however many hours of my life to booting that game back up. So I just got a really big kick out of it. It clearly seems to be based in the world of the game. It's not based on the novels or the show directly, and it was just a great setup. I know it's only going to be 4 issues, so I feel like I can commit to that, and I just had a lot of fun with it as my pick of the week.
I don't know if you said this, and I'm sorry, but like, have you read other minis? I assume this isn't the only one. There's just
I've read a couple of issue ones that have come out over the years from Dark Horse, because I'm always willing to give it a shot, especially when it's my pick. I try to like cast a wider net. I've talked about that before. Find something that is maybe a little bit off the beaten path, and this is the best of any of the Witcher books that I've read, so by a long shot. Like,
is this the standard? I feel like they come out pretty regularly, because I think at one point I thought about it, and I think I also tried to watch like the first episode on Netflix, and then I realized there was a lot, and I was like, is this the same team? But
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I didn't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's been 10 minis, I think, going back to 2014.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Paul Tobin wrote a lot of them.
And Henry Cavill, famously a fan of the games, but then read the novels while they were developing the show. And part of the reason he left the show is he was tired of butting heads with the writing staff to keep the show closer to the novels and less beholden to what was in the game. So kind of interesting.
Is Henry Cavill or Joe Mangione the more odd nerd in a hunk body? Who wins that? The person whose personality and body didn't go together. And let's just, while we're at it, Mangione is married to Sofia Vergara. So that, I mean, it's very odd.
It's the classic Old Jersey, New Jersey showdown, right? Henry Cavill's literally from Old Jersey. I don't know if Mangioni's from New Jersey.
No, he's
but
from
with that name,
Pittsburgh, I think.
With that name, yeah, you're right. He is from Pittsburgh. I did know that. But, you know, it's the... I think Henry Cavill... I'm going to give it to Henry Cavill because Henry Cavill does Warhammer at 40,000 or whatever and does the painting of the little figurines. And to me, that's
I think so.
You can't go higher on the nerd tier than that.
Yeah.
I will say, not to speak about this book because I didn't read it, but this was a really awesome week of comics. Like if I had to pick, I would have not known what to do because there was probably 6 or 7 books of the 19 I read that were just terrific.
And there were just there were a lot of books I enjoyed this week that were middle parts of stories or solid issues of solid runs. For this, for Witcher kind of taking the lead, it was they incorporated a lot of the little, like when he lights his torch, he doesn't light it with a flint. He does the little hand signal. And like, if you're not very familiar with this world, you might not catch that from panel to panel. But if you are more familiar with this world, like there's just a lot of little touches where it's like it felt very authentic to someone who really understood the game and the world and the characters. And yeah, it's got his pendant quivers when magic is nearby. That's another mechanic, Josh.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed
spirit from one of the dwarves, so he can make a potion.
It's nice. This is a little like that. I actually didn't quite. I still have the last Expanse mini that came out from Boom after a bunch of them that were not good was great. And so every once in a while, one of these properties that you kind of don't expect much from, gives you something, and it's like, oh, this is actually what I wanted from this. Yep.
Well, let's move on to another, I guess, licensed property. G.I. Joe 18. We've been waiting for this one. The roadblock on top of his food truck issue.
Oh man!
And I thought this was fantastic.
It was
kind of everything that you would expect and want from the promise of that cover.
Yeah, exactly.
It delivered fully. It's what happens with Roadblock is that he is who you want him to be, but also like ridiculous when necessary. Like, oh, he's far too strong, but you buy it all.
Holding a 1,000-pound Gatling gun.
Yep.
I would mention Marco Federa, who's the artist of this. Terrific. Very much in the style of Tom Riley, who usually draws the book. And so he would be a terrific artist to work with Tom Riley in terms of handing the issues off, because I thought the art was wonderful. And even after a while, I just stopped even thinking about being a new artist. I just was really marveling at the pages. And Roadblock's a big dude, but not like absolute Batman big. But it's
right.
Still,
he's just on the edge, though.
Yeah, for sure.
It's almost too much to me. Really, so this issue was probably the most like an early first 50 issue Larry Hama G.I. Joe. It was a ridiculous story because a lot of the Joes, Larry Hama was better at this than anybody I think has ever been in a team book, is that he could continually change the focus of what character he was on, and he'd make that character kind of interesting for a while. Josh Williamson's great at it, but that's what's happening here. Like, okay, let's spend some time at Roadblock, and he gives you stuff to like care about and be interested. And he would Hama would do that with Steeler or there was a whole thing about Grunt, and he wanted to go to college, and he met a girl, because he's like, I can't do this anymore. And that happened here, and then it's capped off by, again, the very Larry Hama thing, which he still does, is after all this Roadblock stuff, which would have been enough for the issue, we kick it back to Cobra headquarters. We see the state of things. We have my dear Cobra Commander. He literally says, my dear Commander. And
that was like Destro. A love scene almost. They were like, it was very intimate between the two of
them. But then he realizes the treachery, and the games are on again. How Cobra it is the most passive aggressive relationship in the history of relationships, and certainly fictional terrorist organizations.
Game of Thrones has nothing on the politics.
Nothing. Why are you still working with Destro?
But so in this story, Roadblock is retired. He's got a food truck. He makes melts, Marvin's melts, and he's happy. He's making food for people. He loves it. He's in Mississippi. You know, there's friends and things. He's got a whole life going. Tomax and Zaymot, Eurotrash, show up. Their hair is a little too light for my liking, but that's okay. They show up. They try to get him to join them. They're gonna franchise his food truck. They're gonna do all the stuff. He knows it's all bullshit. He knows that they're who they are and what they want from him really is his prowess with a heavy machine gun. I really like the flashback to him rebuffing previous offers to buy his truck. He's spraying a guy with a hose. He's kicking a guy in the butt. He's gonna melt the guy's face on his grill. So then they end up having a shootout because if they can't have him, then no one will. And then there's being a whole battle with Crimson Guards, who were, obviously they are Tomax and Zaymot's people.
As the holder of a food handler certificate, you push a guy's face onto your griddle, you're not going to pass your health inspection.
No. Are you going to fail him though?
No, I wouldn't. I want to fight him out.
He is going to clean that. It's going to make it. He's a military man. He's
True.
not that thing. You could eat off that thing. But you know what I'm saying? By the way, I see palm trees in here. You said Mississippi. I thought to myself, are there palm trees in Mississippi? And I thought, well, they got the Gulf Coast. Looked it up. Yes, there are palm trees in Biloxi, Mississippi. These pictures indicate that the artist here did the work.
That's awesome.
Did the work. Yep.
And in the very end, before we get to the Cobra stuff, Flint and Lady J and Shooter show up, also to recruit him back to G.I. Joe. So really, he should be just as mad at them. But you know, it is what it is. I thought you're right. This had a very classic feel because we go back to Cobra, the Dreadnoks are there, the ones we recognize. You know, it all feels very much like these are the characters that we, you know, they're coming together in a way we understand. And I thought this issue was awesome. I love this Roadblock. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I also really want a cheesy sandwich after it.
Can we just mention, it's going to put a bookmark here, it's going to come back around to it. What's up with Josh Williamson? Does he do all the comics?
Yeah.
And
this is his moment.
I think I'll say this, like, sometimes you read a comic and you're like, oh, that's totally that guy doing that comic. Yep. Josh Williamson, if you didn't tell me he was doing these different books, it feels like a G.I. Joe book. This doesn't feel like a Josh Williamson DC book. Like, I get that.
Right.
This, and then another book we're going to talk about later, he's
on fire right now.
He's a machine. And like, I knew him a long time ago, and I was like, this guy's really serious. And he did not have those skills yet, but holy shit, he did the work and he got there. This is crazy. Yeah.
Agreed. I thought this was a great issue. We have more great comics to talk about. We'll be back right after this. Okay, let's discuss Absolute Batman 16, the second of a two-part Wonder Woman Batman crossover. The stories aren't linked, but it was last month's Wonder Woman, this month's Batman, as Wonder Woman shows up in the Batman book by Scott Snyder and Nick Dakota. I thought this was great too.
It was fantastic.
The cover was misleading in that Batman is not telling Wonder Woman to go to hell. It's a genuine invitation of, can we go to hell together?
Yes. But this, I mean, their journey to hell, because he wants to heal Killer Croc. He feels guilty because he's now all of his friends are fucked up. Harvey's now Two-Face. Otto's now Penguin. They haven't become those. They have the injuries to prove it. Mm-hmm. And then Waylon is Killer Croc, and he wants to heal Waylon. So he calls upon Wonder Woman. He's got that little token of that she gave him in the Wonder Woman issue to summon her 3 times, and he uses it to ask her to use her magic to heal his friend. And she says, "I can't do it, but there's someone in hell who could maybe do it." And so they go to hell. There's an awesome moment where he goes to sleep and she puts coins on his eyes, and that sends him into the afterlife to talk to his dad, which I thought was really awesome. Mm-hmm. And then they had a great fight with whoever the guy was in hell, and then it doesn't work out the way he wants. I thought it was just an incredible issue. But
I did think that, like, they
fight a centaur.
Yeah, but the way that they approached the fight, it's all slightly skewed because, like Greek mythology isn't as straightforward as, like, they fight the bad guy, they win. Like, it's all these twists and turns, and I think that's what happened here. And I think that Snyder did that really well.
Yes.
I liked hanging out with this Batman for the first time. I did notice at the beginning as they're with the villains. First of all, I know that we complained about Se, her name being shortened to Essie, and then I was like, oh, it's Wei Se. Oz, like all of them have a one syllable, but I also realized, like, I was like, I have no recollection what happened to any of these people to get there. They were playing poker at some point, and now they are all like injured and hate him, and I do not remember that happening.
I think it happened over the break, and I think it was they went with him to help Waylon, and then they got hurt doing it. I think that's what happened.
One of my favorite sequences in comics this week, if we were still doing Best in the Week in panels, it's the last 3 panels on page 4 of your digital reader, where it's showing Harvey on one side of his face saying that Penguin was being too harsh, and then it shows Penguin, snarking at that, and then the other side of Harvey's face goes, "Nah, he deserved it." That is such good two-faced.
Harvey has long Witcher hair.
He does.
Additionally, I don't know that's Penguin from looking at him.
I mean, where I struggle with this book is some of that body horror stuff. It's still like kind of grosses me out to the point where it doesn't take me out of the book, but I don't like it. I'm not supposed to like it.
Yeah, I have a longer thing about the absolute books, which I'm not going to do in the show, but I am going to do in the after show, because we're going to talk about the really good ones this show and then less good ones in the after show, because 4 of them came out this week.
I think the thing is that the Batman story in this was front loaded too heavily. I kind of couldn't keep track of it, and it didn't grab me in a lot of ways. The series in general, whereas like over in the Superman book, it was not front loaded at all for a very long time. And then what this mostly taught me was just like Wonder Woman's the best. We are at a really great Wonder Woman era right now. Whereas there's
2 great Wonder Woman books.
And I mean, like, you want to talk about a fallow period? People could not get a Wonder Woman book going to save their lives, and like now. It's nothing, but like when I see a Wonder Woman book come out, no matter which one it is, like I really look forward to it because she is such a cool, interesting character right now.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that because we're talking about that book next. But I thought Nick Dragotta did really great work. I'm looking at the splash page of them when they're attacking the guy and they're both screaming, "We're not together!" at him because he thinks they're a pair. Which, by the way, why not? Anyone who watched Justice League cartoon knows they're an awesome romantic pair.
Yes,
but
Tom King knew it.
This was a really well constructed comic, just like G.I. Joe. Like, both of them were really great single issue stories where we got all the pieces clicked into place at the end and just went, that was really satisfying, including that they don't do what they intend to do in Hell, but they maybe have still figured out a way to help his friend using her magic and the centaur, and that was really nice sort of button on the story. We haven't seen the outcome, but we hope so. The only downside is it's not the fault of the issue, really. It's whenever I see Alfred, I think it's Ra's al Ghul. It's just in my lizard brain. There's a 1-page sort of joke with him trying to feed Waylon, and the very first panel, I was like, Ra's al Ghul. Oh no, wait, that's Alfred. Every single time. All right, go ahead.
There's a bit here where they're fighting. And she's like, "Bruce, never stand behind a centaur." And he looks at the camera, more or less. He goes, "What?" And you know he's about to get kicked. And it's a good joke. And it is like that being a Scott Snyder comic threw me. I was like, "What is this? That doesn't seem like him." And again, that's not. And then I guess my last.
But then there's a payoff to that scene where Pegasus saves him and he comes back and recalls the Bat Centaur joke.
And by the way, that is a Scott Snyder thing because his structure is awesome. What I did notice here, and it's a Batman book, so I can't complain, but I think Dragotta's art really shines in a light atmosphere because you can see the figures, and the book is so dark normally that it doesn't it loses a lot of that dynamism. And I think, and it's Batman. You can't have Batman out in the light all the time or whatever, but I just felt like the colors and the background gave this art and these figures room to breathe in a way that I haven't felt in the other book. And, and it's Batman, so it shouldn't, but I really enjoyed it because of that aspect.
This is one of the best issues of this series so far. Yeah. If not the best one, I'd have to think about it, but we're just on a cavalcade of really terrific comics, including Absolute Wonder Woman 16, which is the start of a new arc. Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman, who just continues to do incredibly weird things with layouts, including this one panel page where the layouts sort of go in like a wave or a what what's that, a wave where it goes out from the top panel and just keeps getting smaller and smaller. He's crazy in the best possible way.
I think it's really important to note that it's really hard to do that. And also, like, I don't know where Hayden Sherman comes from, but I don't feel like he's been around all that long. And there's a I mean, we read the Wildfire book that he did with Scott Snyder, I don't know, not too many years ago. And at that point, like, he was definitely being experimental, but wasn't quite there. The figure drawing wasn't quite there. The character differentiation and the layouts, which were experimental, were maybe a little harder to follow. And in that time, I mean, he's drawn an awful lot over the past few years. So
he was doing two books at once. He was doing this book and the Batman book I was talking about, that miniseries. He was doing two monthly books.
Never during this book, have I been lost because of his inventive storytelling. There's a page here. It's actually 17 if you're following along, where she's fighting the white tiger lady. I don't know.
That's the page I'm talking about, where the panels emit from the top.
Yeah, and it's just I don't even know how to describe that. But it is like tiny panel comics, but also in given a shape, and it's sort of it feels circular in a way that makes sense with the fight. It's
just a
really
great way to show a super long knockdown drag out fight in just little snapshots of fists, bloody mouth, roaring because of the tiger, and feet, and it's just you have a sense of this is a battle that's happening.
And then it's just, and I mean, I love this book. This is one of my favorite books. And then finally, like, you guys know, I'm a big Kelly Thompson fan. Yeah. I think she has gotten so good at this. And it's been like a progression. Like, the first comic, she's like, oh, there's something there. It's pretty good. Through Captain Marvel, like, oh, this is actually really good. And like, now she has worked and leveled up, and we're really seeing great comics out of her.
The big cliffhanger is that Zatanna and the Suicide Squad have attacked. Not super thrilled by that as a Zatanna fan, but whatever, I'll take it. But it was a great series, or not issue, starting off a new arc. They're at a museum opening, which was interesting because it's a Greek, exhibit that they said they couldn't get any interest in until Wonder Woman showed up. I was like, you couldn't get any interest in that giant fucking statue? Like, I'd go see that.
People, man, you're not normal.
But I like the whole bit where she's like on the red carpet, right? Like, we haven't seen that aspect of her in this book, where she is now a celebrity, and mirrored with the fact that Steve's getting grilled on Capitol Hill about his involvement, and it was just a really, really great comic again. Are you not reading this?
I'm just not caught up. I just fell behind during the holiday break and didn't get caught up in time for this week's episode show.
Interesting. Get caught up.
I'm kind of
also just the little crew, the two bookstore witch ladies, and Steve Trevor as her boyfriend. It's fun to watch how people are doing, because you're breaking gender roles all the time, and so they're coming up with this sort of different. This has happened in like Tom King was dealing with it. It's this sort of different idea of what a manly man is when he's dating like a very strong woman, and they're he's kind of Steve Rogers in a way. Like, he does the right thing all the time, and he cares about it, and that's why she cares about him. But that's excellent. Just every time.
Yeah, and look like Cheetah's part of the Suicide Squad, so that's a major character. Like, I just think I read Batman and Wonder Woman back to back, and I finished those two, and I was like, that was awesome. Like, comics are great. Yeah. Like, this was just it was one of those weeks that kept happening, and
I will bring up a thing though, is that, like, this is supposed to be the dark side world, right?
Yeah.
And over in Batman, that is the dark side world. Over in Superman, this just seems like normal.
Well, yeah, I mean,
whatever city they're in, I don't care.
None of it makes no sense.
Yeah, because it doesn't work. Like, if you're gonna put them on Apocalypse, and have everything be awful, do it. But this isn't just like a darker Earth. I was like, have you been on the real Earth?
It's not that bad. It's pretty good, actually.
I know.
All right, so the absolute block's over. We'll be back with more comics right after this. All right, so we have the final issue of The Guy in the Chair. Guy in the Chair number 4 from Dark Horse. Josh, you stuck with it.
I did stick with it, and I have not I have not figured out the guy in the chair.
I read the whole thing too, by the way.
Yeah, and I at one point, I think after the second one, I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. I can't think of a comic book that did so many things right and so many things wrong at the same time. You know what I mean? Like
I thought the Guillermo Sana art the entire time was excellent.
Absolutely.
He's got a very sort of Michael Lark feel to his art. The really great action character work. This would have been at home in any Greg Rucka book. If this guy had been around, 15, 20 years ago, he would have drawn an arc of Queen and Country, and he would have done Gotham Central. Like this is the right in that zone that I really like a lot.
Story-wise, I think that the concepts and the plotting, I think the plotting, the pacing, all this was really good. I hate every time any of them speak words. For the most part, because I get what they're I get what they're going for, because you wouldn't want this to be like super grim. It's almost like they took a step too far, like
there's a few too many winky jokes about pop culture,
but they weren't even good.
No, but they were there.
There was not a few too many. There were a lot too many. Yeah. And I get it, like he's the nerd, but like everybody being a nerd, I was like, whatever. Like it. I'm vexed.
I think the story was like, as you said, the plot.
Yes, all of it.
It was fun. Like the idea is the guy in the chair, the person who is back at the computer on the maps helping the hero out, and there's this whole company full of operatives, and they have guys in the chair helping them, and he is in love with his operative, which is apparently a common thing. We find that in this issue, and this whole thing falls apart. We find out that the company's evil and all that, and they're on their they're trying to kill him.
And I think that maybe it was a little short because they only got their 4 issues, but also I think that in that sense, it was actually handled really well. They never explained too much. It wasn't like you had to really, I was like, there's stuff that I don't really understand or whatever, but it worked. And it wrapped up in a bow and whatever. It was brief, but not necessarily in a bad way. I don't think it should have been longer, but yeah.
Hannah Roseman and Utkarsh and Bodkar the writers are both actors.
Okay.
And so you have to imagine they're out pitching this.
Right. Sure.
As a series, but
it needs a rewrite. It needs a script polish. But I was going to say, if these folks are going to write more comics, and maybe
Hannah Roseman has written a couple. I read another one she did about the actress who gets targeted. An actress who plays a genre character unpopular online gets targeted by crazy fans. I thought she's got good ideas.
The fundamentals of building a comic book story, in the room they had, were very, very good. The bones of the house, as it were.
Yeah. I didn't dislike it.
Me neither.
I didn't dislike reading it, but it definitely needed dialogue work, I think.
Yeah.
Plot work was great. Art was terrific. Dearbla Kelly, it's probably wrong. All worked.
Jarbla? I don't know.
Dearbla.
That could be a name from India. That could be an Irish.
That's an Irish name. No, it's an Irish name. Yeah.
Sharba.
Let's move on to Exorcism Island, number 4 from Jordan Thomas and Chris Matthews. That's it, I guess. Someone lettered it. Who knows? I know Chris does his color, but they didn't list the letter.
This is the same team from the name of the book that I will never remember.
The same team from the crime book they did.
I'm so sorry, Jordan. And I'm also sorry because I'm not caught up on this. And
Chris Matthews is really, really great. Ryan, what did you think of this issue?
I hadn't been reading this at all. This was, I received an email just saying, "Hey, here's a preview copy of Exorcism Island," and I was like, "Okay, intriguing title." So I actually read all 4 issues in the lead up to this week's episode, and I think we've got at least 1 more, maybe 2 to go. Kind of a crazy concept. I mean, it is not a concept I would expect to see from the same person who did Skin Police, because it's not like it's going so far afield from sci-fi to this weird. It's almost like it's got like.
Well, it's religious horror. It's an island where they take all the really bad exorcism cases, and then the group of priests.
It's island in the Caribbean. The island itself is weird. It's kind of like Lost, like it's in the Caribbean, but it's freezing cold all the time, presumably because of all the demonic energy. Yeah. All the little houses they have are built into the shape of a cross, pointing at the church where they all go. The priests are all like, if you saw sort of the Wake Up Dead Man or Conclave, there's a lot of like
internecine priest stuff.
I was gonna say internecine. I didn't know if that was the right word, but I guess it is. Internecine, politicking between the priests. They all have very different personalities and backgrounds. I think that's one of the things that makes like a group of priest stories kind of interesting is because it's such a global enterprise that they can kind of come from anywhere and have these wildly divergent backgrounds, but you have a somewhat organic reason that they would all convene in the same place because they all work for this organization and they all have experience trying to cast out demons. They all seem really bad at their jobs. I think the reveal here might be that was intentional. Like, I don't know that this island was set up for success, but
I read 3 and 4 to this. 3 came out during the break and I missed it, so I read 3 and 4 today. I like the book. I think Chris Matthews is a huge talent, and I hope Jordan Thomas can keep making books with him before he blows up. But I get a little lost in some of the storytelling.
Cartooning.
Yeah, really excellent. I get a little lost in the cartooning sometimes, and not because of storytelling. I can't remember if it happened in 3 or 4, but there was a couple of instances where I was like, wait, what happened? There was a part where the one priest was in a confessional, he got out, and there was a head behind him, and it was never referenced or talked about. There's things I think I'm missing not reading this kind of story altogether in one chunk, but it's enjoyable. And I don't really usually like this kind of story. This is a horror story about possession and demons. But
the demons aren't done, like, most of the demons look human, humanoid.
People,
yeah, they sometimes have anarchic clothes and obviously there's a little bit of body horror with, like,
there's a lot of body horror,
mouths and stuff like that. But because of the cartooning, it doesn't like, I don't know, triggering, maybe the wrong word there, but it doesn't trigger that reflex in me to be super grossed out by it.
Right. I think it's a good
book. It also
book.
doesn't trigger my reflux, which is good.
That's also good.
Because I've been having to take a lot of ibuprofen lately. Sorry.
I can cause it. You should,
I do like that.
That was the point of the joke.
Jordan Thomas has many different. He did a crime book. He did a sci-fi book. He said this is a horror book. He's got a lot of different avenues to go down. So,
well, it's nervous to dip into a book like this because, like, I don't know Jordan well, but I know he's a part of the iFan base and listens presumably somewhat to this show. And so you read a book like this and you're like, oh God, I hope I can say this is good and mean it. And then it's like, oh yeah, this is really good. So I like that the Cardinal,
as long as the checks keep coming,
right?
Cardinal
people don't understand.
Has like a connection to the demon world. It's cool. There's a lot of interesting stuff here.
That is true. Josh, you want to talk about the next bit?
Yeah, I can talk about the next bit if I go and open this up a little bit, and I'll get exactly there. But listen, we are listener supported. It turns out that at least one of those listeners writes pretty good comic books. But he also knows that we wouldn't say his books were good if we didn't think so, and so he must do pretty good books. Just want to make that clear. My joke about bribery earlier was in fact just that. But the fact is, like, we are entirely we are listener supported, and we very much appreciate that. So you can directly support the show, become a part of a great community over on Discord and Facebook. These little tiny bastions of sanity in a world of flame. You can vote on the Patron Pick. You can get Patron Power live on the show and join the monthly Patron Hangout. Many great things. $10 or higher, you are going to get an ad-free version of all of our shows put on that Patron feed. And again, you will download those directly just like you would the podcast. So don't be thinking, oh, I got to download a file, I got to put it up, because that's what I thought you'd have to do. But no, works just like your regular thing. You'll get those that way. You will get the Pick of the Week show, that ad-free version, a day early on Saturday. Early as we can do it. That's what's going to happen. You will get access to the iFanboy after show on Sundays when we talk about all of the books we read more books than we talk about in this main show, and the books that are left over are then talked about there in a slightly different format because it is not publicly distributed. No, that's not true. Sort of true. There's a discount if you sign up for a full year. And now you can give or send gift memberships, which has actually happened more than I thought it would. That is patreon.com/ifanboy. Our merch store is ifanboy.threadless.com, where you can find 23 designs on t-shirts and other things that are there. We like our designs very much. There's nothing up there that at least 2 of us don't really like. You can go to ifanboy.com. It's a very It's a very easy majority rule system. There is direct donations over at ifanboy.com/support. That's just if you feel like you can donate to the show, you don't want to deal with anything, that's the place to do it. ifanboy.com/Amazon is a general shopping link. It's an affiliate link. If you buy stuff through there, it affects you in no way at all, but it helps us out a little bit. That is a very passive way that you can be helpful should you wish to. You can go to bookshop.org where you can help local bookstores. Find links on the website where appropriate. We will put those on there whenever we can to buy books. And that's my spiel. That's everything.
Thank you, Josh. Let's talk about Drawing Blood number 10. This is 10 of 12. The Kevin Eastman's
The fact that you just said 12, I didn't know that, and it makes sense, but I'm a little upset.
fictionalized autobiography of life after selling the turtles. I hope he didn't get involved in the Lithuanian mob like he does in this book. It's such a strange book.
It was the Estonians is the weird thing.
I thought it was the Lithuanians.
They said Lithuanians in this.
No,
Yeah,
my joke was that in real life.
Oh, I see.
I see. Oh, good joke.
The joke
good joke.
failed.
That's
No,
no, it didn't.
No, that is a good
We're
joke.
Stupid.
That's a good joke.
That was a good joke.
We're old and
That's
tired.
us, not you.
geography.
This is such a strange book. And I everything he does in the book, I'm like, you're going to lose all of your money.
That's almost the most realistic thing about it, though. You know, like it's just that. Yeah.
In the book, he decided to sink all of his money into a Broadway version of the movie Metropolis, and in this issue, he decides, no, that's a mistake. I'm going to do a Broadway version of the Last Ronin comic book story that we that it's not called that, but that's what it is. That came out a couple of years ago that set the Turtles world on fire. It's just this is so bizarre, this book.
That's following the fact that in this continuity, like his whatever the Samurai Cats or whatever they are, like they did a Broadway musical and it was famously bad, as any Broadway musical based on a comic book should be.
There was a Turtles stage show that was pretty
of
pretty
course
terrible.
There was.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the thing. I mean, I do not understand. I do not understand why. That I love this comic book.
Oh, no, it's super cool.
When it comes out and it's just spread out enough, you know, that it's like when it comes out, it's like, oh,
there was a long break in the
gap.
middle. Yeah,
but at the same time, at no point did it come back. And I was like, wait, who are these people? What's going on? It's really well done.
Right.
You know, it has the sousant of truth to it that gives it a little gravity. I don't know what's true or what isn't, but I know that this is based on shit that happened, and I think it's very brave. I think it's very. I mean, like Kevin Eastman contributed to the story, not the script, but he doesn't come out for the best in it. He's very like open. I enjoy it so much, and you know, 10 issues in, I am not thinking they should wrap this up at all. You know, and I also just felt like this was the we're entering the third act issue, and you know, it was really well done.
I enjoy it. It's bonkers. It's a bonkers book. Let's talk about the patron pick. Every patron on the show gets to vote to add a book to the rundown. Every single one of you gets your chance. You got about 48 hours to do so, or not even that much time. You get about 36 hours. This week, it was a humongously competitive 2-horse race between Youngblood number 3, the second place book, and the eventual winner, Iron Man 681, or New Number 1, from Joshua Williamson, Carmen Carnero, Nolan Woodward, Joe Caramagna. The patrons were really looking to have Josh blow a gasket talking about Youngblood, but the ones in the Discord anyway, but they were outvoted.
It would have been so boring. The
silent majority, the new Iron Man series. I haven't read an Iron Man book in a while. I dropped off when Cantwell did, I think. Josh is stuck with it the whole time.
Yeah.
This is the new one by Josh Williamson, as we mentioned earlier, of G.I. Joe writer.
Which this is the first Marvel book he's done in
a while. Yeah, he mentioned that in the essay in the back.
There was an essay? How novel?
This was awesome. I loved this. When I read it, I was like, this could be the pick of the week. Back when I was trying to figure out what I would do, but I thought this was incredible. I really enjoyed the hell out of this. What did you guys think,
Ryan?
I was hit or miss on it. I didn't love it. It was not in the running for pick of the week at any point in my reading. I loved the art. I thought Carmen Carnero's art, not technically a Carmine I've stated on the show previously, Josh, I don't think you were on, that there are no bad comic book artists named Carmine, but I think Carmen's close, so I think you can maybe join the club.
I think that's in the family. That's just a pronunciation leap. That's nothing.
So I love the art, the story. I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of Tony Stark saying, "I'm going to reset back to basics" and whatever, and it's just.
I don't think. I will just on that. Like, I don't think he said it as much as he did it, which is a big deal in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe he did say it, but go ahead. You can.
No, there were parts of this I liked, parts of this didn't quite work for me, and the last page reveal, a rare thing for me is I don't know who's standing in between Captain Marvel and Captain America. Is it
that would be a knock on Carmen Carnero, that the layout was bad enough where I don't know, it would be impossible to identify that person.
Yeah, I mean, it's Norman Osborn in between Reed and War Machine, which is strange, but okay. So
yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah,
it could be Shang-Chi, it could be lots of people. It's impossible to say. The story here is that AIM, who anytime AIM shows up, then you get an extra star in your book. AIM, under the direction of new leader Madame Mask, who is Tony's ex, whatever, is kidnapping young geniuses to try to recreate the magic of Tony Stark when he was young and created Iron Man in the first place. And Tony gets it. Is this a new suit, Josh? Because you've been reading it. I like this suit.
Because I think it was last week.
He's wearing the anti-magic suit early in the issue, and then.
No, the one at the end, the new one at the end.
Yeah, the motor.
Yeah, it's a new suit because it's a floating scooter. But I did think at the whatever the one, and I think it's the anti-magic suit that's at the, after the cold open. I hate it. I hate the lead. Like, I want 2 colors, 3 colors is weird. It looks like it's unfinished and not in a cool way. Yeah, I will when you're ready. I mean to.
No. I like the new suit. I liked Tony in here. This feels like a Tony that I want to read. I don't want to read broke Tony. I don't want to read sad Tony. Tony's always sad, but I don't want to read like, I've got to cobble together this stuff because someone's taking my company. This is like Tony Stark. He's in charge of Stark Industries. He's got his money. He's got his people. Pepper Potts is there. This is the Tony I want to read. And then, I like the art, but I got to knock Carmen Carnero again. I don't know what the fuck they did to Steve Rogers' hair at the end there, but he's got floppy Gen Z hair, which I hate. I did not like.
Is that Black Bolt?
We don't know. It's impossible to know.
Because they said the Illuminati, basically, like that would be.
But this is the new Illuminati. This is.
I was gonna say, but Cap was never in. Cap was never in the original Illuminati.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, I don't know who that is. Loki.
I think it's a little bit reckless of Tony to fly his suit that close to Pepper and Melinda.
Well, that's what's funny is that at a certain point when he carries her away with his arms wrapped, I go, the outside of that's not soft.
I always think about that when Superman catches someone while they're falling. Like, so you're just getting hit by
comics.
But he has like, control over all of his muscles and everything he's doing. So like, I can buy that he can make that a soft landing. This is big clanking metal. That's also probably quite hot or cold, depending on what's going on. So my take on this is that my 2 points that I came out is that clearly he is leaning into the Robert Downey Jr. version.
Well, they all have.
I know that, but my great desire is to not do that anymore, and it's unrealistic. I just am tired of it. However, the flip side of that is that I think he's done it better than anybody else because it isn't the sad sack thing. It's the exciting Tony Hawk. I tried to say Hawk, and I said Tony Hawk and Tony Stark at the same time. That's what happened. Because apparently when I say Tony, I want to say Hawk because he's the oldest famous Tony in my head.
And both of them can still nail a sweet 540.
Like he even does like an air guitar thing at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you're just leaning into it, as the sort of rock star. So that was pretty good. And I think the artist did a really good job with his facial expressions in sort of showing, his smugness, whether it's a mock or performative smugness, it's still actually there. And I think that reads. I think that Adam Ware, the kid who won the award, suit was way too big.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like it was just weird. And
that's a part of purpose. He's not a rich guy. He's a poor kid, smart kid. So he's wearing probably his dad's suit.
Also,
Yeah.
in terms of no, that's too big. That's comedically big. That's bigger than Earl's suit on My Name Is Earl, which is a recurring joke on the like. It's too silly. He's a teacher. He has a job. Like
But I
you
will
can go
say,
to
I will say
JC Penney and get a suit.
the Iron Man
Oh,
suit
you're right. You're right. He's in the
It-
more of adult. You're
is
right.
huge, which I really like because even when Tony's not in like full Hulkbuster mode,
Mhm.
I'm a big proponent of the theory that the suit is actually much bigger on the inside than just a single person. Like Tony's got
Oh
room
no,
to
I don't
move
like that
around.
at all.
I do.
I don't.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
no, I don't personally like it. I don't have anything against it. I think it's a little too big and because like it makes sense just because electronics get smaller. That is, he gets better at it. It gets more svelte, and it's advantageous to have it be smaller. So these are that makes those like all aesthetic choices and whatever. It's a comic book in that way. It doesn't matter. By the way, the first shot of Madame Mask before she pops out with the reflection, I thought it was going to be Citizen V because the coloring makes it look exactly like the Thunderbolts character. I was 100% into it. So there's a here's my last thing, and I'm sorry you see this stuff
No,
wherever you are, but this is
go
my
on.
thought. No, I haven't said it yet. At one point, they go into talk to Tony, and they're like, "Why is it so loud in here? Because you're working." And he says, "The noise helped me filters out the noise. It helps me focus." And I was like, "Oh, he has ADHD. I hadn't appeared. He's impulsive. He drinks." Because he hasn't like the whole thing. I was like, oh, this makes total sense, and he's always driven. He's doing this stuff. I know it's not written that way because it's 60 years old, but that's immediately what I thought of, which would totally work with the character and everything. It was good. It was really good. I think it's what you would want out of an Iron Man book, much more than any of the Iron Man books have been. The last one, I forget, it was Spencer Ironman something.
Yeah,
It was kind of a mess, but by the end I was like, I think I really I'm impressed by that mess, whatever it was. It had to do with all
right.
the Doom stuff. But this is much more, it's Josh Williamson. You know, you want a superhero Tony story like this guy. He studied the books of Jeff Johns, and he's figured out how to apply it to so many other properties. You know that not even Jeff was able to do. Because I always think about that in terms of like Jeff Johns was able to distill down better than almost anybody what it was this character's book should be, and Josh took that and he can do it anywhere. We've seen it 3 times.
Well, this week he had Iron Man, he had G.I. Joe, and he had Superman.
Yep.
He ran the gamut that you can run in mainstream Western comics. All of them very good.
If he was only running G.I. Joe and just some random book, you'd be like, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
But the fact that added this sort of third leg to the stool, I was like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, you're right. I had forgotten he was doing it. I opened it up and I went, oh. And then he said, I haven't written in Marvel in a long time, but I knew I would come back for Iron Man. And it was great.
And whatever he did do at Marvel in the past was not memorable.
I don't know what it was.
Exactly. I know he's done it, but crazy.
So it's funny because I did really enjoy the art, but talking through the book, there are several things here I think that are problematic with the art. So I'm gonna have to I might knock it down a little bit. As good as the art is, there are some issues. The suit's way too big. The hair's dumb. The layout at the end makes one of the characters impossible to read. But
I do, but I think that what it did though was it set the right tone, it set the right motion, it kept things moving and exciting, and so in that way it was very successful. So a couple of technical knocks.
On the whole, it was very good. There was 2 comics this week that had really egregious word balloon errors, and I can't think of what they were. I started writing things down.
Oh, that's my.
There were two this week that I read that had, and they had like
you're not jogging on your memory, so I can't help you. But
I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to. This is bad discussion. So let's talk about Iron Man 681 or number 1. First question: ratings. What is your rating on Iron Man 681 out of 5 stars? I'm giving it 4 1/4, 4.25.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was about to say 4.2, but I can go with a 4.25. Certainly in terms of like what this needed to be, 100%. Like this was a real strong outing.
Ryan? And I'm gonna go 3.75. And I meant to point this out when I was talking about my pick. reading comics this week was dancing between the raindrops, except it was dancing between giant slabs of ice that are covering my neighborhood and with a kid who hasn't been in school all week. So I was.
It's a wonder you're upright. I hear you.
I'm in a somewhat addled state trying to get through my books. I literally
I have a broken shoulder, right?
I asked Cal. I mean, it was later in the day. We'd been hanging out all day. My wife had to go to the office today, so it was just me and him. And I was sitting down on the couch. I pulled out my iPad. I was like, all right, Cal, I got to read some books. I talked to my friends about these books later. And I said, so you're going to let me sit here and read, or are you going to be a distraction? He looks at me and goes, distraction. I'm like, all right. So at least he knows. And dear listener, he was a distraction. So.
Second question. Would you have read this book if it wasn't a patron pick? Yes.
Yes.
I already had.
Yes. And third, are we sticking with it? I am sticking with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to figure out who that person on the last page is.
That's worth coming back for.
I mean, I can just tell you.
Thanks for voting. Patreon.com/iFanboy. Every patron gets voted a book to the rundown, but if you're a patron at the $5 or higher level, you get a superpower live on the show. And this week, Dr. Ryan is giving away the power.
Yes, and this week the power is going to Adam Marten. And unlike the small species of weasel that Adam shares his name with, Adam's power doesn't have anything to do with weasels. Instead, Adam has an inexplicable urge to cut down trees around him, build dams out of those trees, and flood his entire neighborhood. He can't resist the call.
He's a human beaver.
He doesn't want to do it.
But because it's a lot of work. Are the dams?
He's nothing if not industrious.
And he can do it. He can do it.
Oh yeah.
It's not just an urge, but he
can
gnaw on a tree and have it fall and make it.
I have two questions.
He can cut it down however he wants. He can use tools.
Does he have super strong teeth?
Right. Is there any? So really, you're just talking about an obsessive compulsive person.
But he can't do it. So he's got his powers. He's super strong biting because he can bite the tree down.
I mean, we could throw in some.
If I went out and bought a tree, I'd break all my teeth. But you're saying Adam can do it, so he must have
enough to make a dam.
With beavers and all rodents,
maybe
it's just the front four incisors that are super strong. And
either way, the front four are still not gonna. They're not gonna work on my teeth. So he's got to have
some extra normal ability. He has. Yes. He must. Not just a compulsion to make. Okay, so the second question is: the dams, are they haphazard? Are they deleterious? Are they advantageous to the area? Is he causing destruction? Or is he helping?
He's flooding his neighborhood every time he succeeds in building one of these dams. Like he is an ecosystem engineer.
The actual beaver, though, has a purpose and is an excellent engineer to sort of for his purposes. So does he get a benefit from this?
Right,
or is it just fuck the neighbors?
Because the beavers are doing it so they create a safe space in which to
right.
live.
If you were the ground squirrel who was living near the creek and the beaver comes along, you're not happy the beaver put the dam up and flooded your home.
So is he just making a moat for his house because he doesn't want people around?
It's whatever body of water is flowing near where he's living. He's damming it and back flooding it around his whole area. His whole area is getting flooded. He's creating swamps and marshlands that will persist for generations.
I mean, to be fair, that is a long-term benefit. Maybe not necessarily at the time. Certainly home prices are an issue. But, on a centuries basis.
Sure.
On an ecological basis.
Yeah, it's an excellent. It's absolutely good.
And Adam's really good about making sure that the entrance to his lodge is underwater so that he can get in and out without the predators getting to him.
You had not previously called it a lodge. And I just
there's dams and then there's lodges. I approve.
Well, you didn't mention that. I like that it's a lodge.
Well, you build a dam,
the water buffalo kind.
The lodge goes on the flooded area adjacent to the dam.
Adam, enjoy this with good health. I'm sorry for your neighborhood, possibly. But thanks for being a patron. Patreon.com/iFanboy.
God damn it, Adam. I didn't marry you to live in a mud bog in a destroyed cul-de-sac.
You might end up with beaver
This is
power.
the fourth neighborhood we've been run out of because you keep flooding everyone's homes.
And he's like, why?
Let's do an email. Justin L. Let's do an email. Justin L. says, first off, cool your jets and how long I've been thinking about this question. It's only been since last episode.
I'm mad, but he still answered it.
But also, don't come at us so aggressively. We didn't ask people to start telling us. They just started telling us.
Right.
They were correct for doing so.
By the way, I figured it out. It's The Flash and DCKO. The Kids Are All Fight both had lettering problems.
Mhm.
Tune in for the after show. I'm going to do a dramatic reading of one of them.
Okay.
Let's get back to Justin's email. You are both really enjoying Spider-Man in Space. Spider-Man in Space.
Space.
But I remember when Cap went to Dimension Z and everyone hated it because it, quote, didn't feel like a Cap story, end quote. I really enjoyed it. I think the consensus was also he says Justin says I really enjoyed it. We'll get to whether or not we in a second.
Yeah.
I think the consensus was also bad on Kirby returning to Cap around issue 200. So my question is mostly about your opinions on which fish out of genre stories did you enjoy and which did you not? So not fish out of water, fish out of genre, which I enjoy his turn of phrase here.
It's good.
It's a nice turn of phrase.
Nice. How long do you think about that?
Good question.
We
both enjoyed Dimension Z. We both like Dimension Z.
Yeah, I like very much. I think I actually reference it quite a bit to this day, and I don't remember a lot of things. So everyone hated it. I don't know what everyone means. Sometimes that means us. Sometimes that means the world.
The Dimension Z stuff is in my weird. That's in my weird Marvel hole where I was freelancing for them to do the AR recaps, and so I was getting all of Remender's scripts for that run.
Mhm.
So I've read all of the scripts to the Dimension Z run, and I've read almost none of the actual issues.
It was Ramita? Great
Remender. It was Ramita. Yeah.
It
was Remender Ramita. It was really good. So genre characters out of genre. So Spider-Man in space. These are all going to be in space stories. The Batman out of
Outlander.
Out of Batman.
It's not out of this world.
He freezes time. What was it called? Come on, guys. Batman Off-World. We were both wrong.
Damn it.
So Batman Off-World, Spider-Man in Space, Dimension Z, characters out of their normal genre. Superman. We like Superman War World as well. That was Superman in a sort of
Conan sword and sandals. Yeah.
It was really fun when Conan was in Marvel.
Yeah,
for a little while. There was a couple of really fun ones with that.
Present day Conan. That was.
I'm having a real. This is the first thing that came up, and I know that it kind of doesn't count, but one of the things that made me think of was Green Arrow Year One by Andy Diggle and Jock, and I know that it's his origin story, but still, the story is about a person who is put into a place that's out of his.
Yep.
He learns how to survive in the jungle. I mean, there's a lot of Batman like that. Like whenever there's the training stuff, like
the Second Coming count in terms of like it's Jesus in a world with superheroes. The Mark Russell book,
yeah,
I guess.
It's actually hard because they don't really do this a lot.
Yeah,
they don't really stray far afield in the genres. Batman has, back when they were churning out
but they used to do Elseworlds, right?
Yeah, when they were churning out the Elseworlds books, but that's more of a setting. Batman in Victorian times is still Batman fighting crime. It's not just because he's not.
It's not that character. So like we couldn't say that the Tom Taylor like Knights of Steel or whatever because it is not the actual character.
No, but no, it's not even that. It's just that Batman in Victorian times fighting crime is still Batman fighting crime. It's not just because the time is
right. But if you took present Bruce Wayne and you moved him in time back to the Victorian times, he's the same guy. He had the same experience in Gotham, but he only had to work with what they're like. Does that count?
No, or like the genre is still crime, unless you're counting sci-fi for him time traveling, but it's still a crime story.
Yeah, I get he did use the word genre.
Yeah.
So
I think Dark Knights of Steel is a genre change because it's more of a sorcery story, sword and sorcery. I mean, it's still superpowers, so that makes it still super.
It's but we're talking about like the examples are all taking a character.
Yeah.
And then putting that character in a different place, not an Elseworlds take. That's a different thing.
No, I agree. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. There's a fine distinction.
I really wish I had better.
What was was it Marvel 1602 where it's revealed that the version of Cap is Steve from the present day 616 who got thrown back in time and has been living with the Native Americans? I don't remember a
single thing about. You're talking about the Game one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember a single detail about that story.
I think Ryan North's actually done this a couple of times with the Fantastic Four lately. Like he moved, Johnny went to the Dark Ages or whatever, and then no, Johnny was like in the extreme future, and Reed was in like the medieval era, and he had to be like, those are kind of like that. I don't have a good answer for you. Like I know they exist. I know we have those space ones, and those are true. I have a lot of fuzzy ideas in my head about.
I mean, there are some characters where it's like the tone of the almost the genre shifts depending on the creative team and sort of where they're at in like Thor. Sometimes Thor, it's a straight up like fantasy Asgard Norse myth. Other times he's an alien alien that inspired the Vikings back in time. Other times he's just a straight up superhero. I mean, in Midgard.
It could be said quite easily that everything that Thor does that is not in Asgard is in fact this. And actually that is one of the things that's great about it, is that you're watching him mix with mortals. And the whole thing about that is, if that's cool or not,
well, and if we're not, and the first Thor movie is very much a fish out of water. I know I know that's not the exact question here, but it is this adult learning about life on Midgard.
It's tough because these tend to take superhero and put them in a sci-fi setting. That tends to be what they do. That's what Dimension Z was. That's what Spider-Man is. That's what
it's got to be one where like they take Hal Jordan and make him a pirate or something like that. Well, that has to.
Remember when Batman? Remember when they killed Bruce Wayne and the way he got back to life was he genre hopped from like caveman times to pirate times to Old West times.
And we had that Marvel one where they took the characters and put them in the Old West. And that's just an Elseworld story.
And
like the old man Logan, I mean, it's taking him out of superhero genre and putting him in post-apocalypse. But
yeah, that's a good example. And the Old Man Hawkeye, obviously the same sort of thing, but those worked really well. Going way back.
How about when Robert Kirkman revealed that the zombie virus was caused by aliens?
Okay, what's the next?
Wait, I don't know. Real quick. Long time ago, Captain America quit. Famously quit. He became nomad. He drove around the country like he was an Easy Rider. I remember really liking that a lot because it sort of took him out of his whole milieu and
he also was a werewolf one time, which is a pretty big genre.
Yeah, actually, J. Jonah Jameson's son, astronaut werewolf.
Right.
There's a whole lot of genres going on there.
Well, but Cap was also a werewolf at one point.
Cap Wolf. Yeah, it's tough because they don't do it a lot. When they do, it's sort of on the edge. So there you go.
I wish I had better answers. I feel like I failed you.
Well, I think we had a bunch there. Thanks for writing in, Justin. We want to hear from you. Contact@ifanboy.com is the best way to get your question on the show. And if you want to write for the Media Explode, please put Media Explode in the subject line. We should not let this week pass without mentioning that we're at the age where we're losing the people of our childhood, and we lost Sal Buscema this week, 2 days shy of his 90th birthday.
The picture you have makes him look like, what are you taking a picture of me for? Give me that. Give me that.
When we were growing up, John Buscema was, the sort of the gold standard of mostly because he did the How to Draw Comics the Marvel way. But I read a lot of Sal Buscema comics as a kid. He read a lot of Hulk books. He drew like his brother, which was interesting. Like they had a very similar style. Sure. And he was one of the big names of the 70s and 80s in Marvel, and it's a bummer. He was the youngest brother too, at 4, Brooklyn born.
I mean, but
probably could have guessed that from the photo.
93. I can't. That's what I thought I read, but I can't do the math looking at it. No, 90. 90's not nothing. Yeah. Especially like where he came from. Spend most of your life drawing comic books, which is not a great position to spend your whole life in, and comes with nothing else. I hope that he was happy and well at the end, because a lot of those guys weren't. But man, 90s, having a name, having that Hulk, that's your Hulk, the Hulk that many right-thinking people think of. That's his Hulk,
Yeah. So it's a bummer. We're gonna, this happens regularly, and it's been happening more and more as these, Titans from the 80s and 70s are in their late elderly years. So
I didn't realize he was somewhat of a thespian. He did a lot of stage productions and played Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. I played Tevye in a school production, so we had that.
an award-winning thespian for his.
I did not win any awards for my
regional
portrayal.
theater work. Yeah. So I'm sure that helps with his acting in the characters. So there you go.
What are you doing? You got steady work at the board.
So we will think fondly of Sal Buscema as we read more comics inspired by his work. So let's get going. Let's get plugging. I could have kept that up, but let's bring it back. So we had two extra shows this month as February. Well, actually, this show, if you're listening early, is still in January, but February is happening right now. But in January, we had two extra shows. We had our Media Explode show where we talked about what we watched and enjoyed over the holiday break, as well as a short tribute to Rob Reiner's films. And then our Book Explode, which we just put out on the feed right behind this show just this past week. Josh and I reviewed the Avengers Annual 16 from 1987. Really fun conversation. It went on probably twice as long as we anticipated. Josh got to talk about Hawkeye a lot, and we had a really fun time doing it. Yeah, it was a really good comic, and we really enjoyed talking about it. So you can find that show right behind this one on the feed, and hope you enjoy it. We really had a fun time talking about it and doing it. So let's wrap things up. You can find our library of over 1,500 shows at iFanboy.com, wherever podcasts are sold, and never miss a show. But find out what the pick of the week is before the show comes out by following us at iFanboy Comics on Instagram and Threads, iFanboy.com on Blue Sky, and individually we are CS Kilpatrick, J.A. Flanagan, and Haupt on Instagram. And don't miss former iFanboy writer Jeff Reed's deep dives into comic book history every Tuesday and Friday across our social channels and on YouTube.
If you listen to the show, if you enjoy this show, and if you feel so inclined, we would very much appreciate it if you would write a review or leave a star rating wherever it is that you listen to your podcasts. Or really, I mean, if you really want to, if you've listened to it, you can review it on anything. As far as I'm concerned, Yelp. No, we don't need that. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whichever. Those things really help us because.
Do we have a Yelp?
I mean,
I hope not.
No, we shouldn't. We should not. That's what I know.
Wrong. It'd be inappropriate.
But like, if you like a show or you're looking for something and you look and the last good review is from 2011, you might not. So when people still keep doing it, that means that we're either getting new listeners or our listeners aren't dying off. So those are both good things. Subscribe to youtube.com/iFanboy, where you can watch the video version of this show. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know, but here it is. I don't want people looking at me. I want you listening to me, but look away. No. Yes. Jeff Reed's videos are there also. You can find the archive of all of our old video shows from 2007 to 2012 when we were well known. Back in Sal Buscema's glory days. Finally, join us for the iFanboy After Show exclusively on Patreon. I've mentioned this earlier. You may remember. We were going to talk about all the books that we didn't read. That we read that we didn't talk about in this episode. Patreon.com/iFanboy for everyone at the $10 a month and up level. What?
Thanks for listening, everyone. We will meet you on the other side of the after show. Until then, my name is Connor.
I've been Ryan.
I am your pal, Josh.